It's not just Fred Slattern, it's the Fred Slattern Experience. I did a trial of this at a cabaret in Chelmsford on Monday. Went quite well, but the audience were drunk. So I don't know how this is going to go. This is the internet, it's wireless. Does anybody buy random purchases on holiday and wonder why they bought them and think, well, it might come in useful one day? Got 1,000 guesses to know what's in here apart from people that have seen me before. You discount the first 200 guesses because it's not that. And there's only one person in this room, I reckon, Richard, might know what it is. Maybe more. It is an Appalachian dulcimer. I didn't buy it in Appalachia, I bought it in Devon. And I don't know what it was worth, but I bought it. And you can see it's quite a crude instrument. If you listen carefully, it does social comment as well. Cameron, you're a cock. And it's got just a very simple sound box, so if you play it as it is, it's not very loud. It's got pegs for tuning, but if you notice, it's got only three strings. 2 of them are drones, only 1 has frets. And that hasn't got all the frets on it, like a guitar. The trouble with the guitar is there's too many frets. So people are tempted to play every single note on the guitar, and it goes widdly, 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 woo, you know, sort of orgasm face, and we're supposed to applaud it and that kind of thing. It's much more difficult to play an instrument like this. I've had it for 3 years, and I'm now an absolute virtuoso on it. So I know you're looking forward to hearing it. Now, to actually get any volume out of it, it needs to be set on something solid, so it's like good to play on a kitchen worktop or something like that. Particularly if you've got a granite one, if you're from the Muesli Triangle of Colchester. I'm from the Essex Delta, so mine is sort of made out of pressed Weetabix covered in plastic, so that's not so good. We'll see how loud it is in this room. It's quite quiet. And let's give it a go. I haven't tuned it yet, actually, have I? That's a good point. Yeah, as I say, there's two drone strings and one which you use the frets, and they're pretty similar. And then to get it authentic Appalachian, you need one of the drones to be an 8th tone sharp, and the other one a 16th tone flat. And Richard, you know, being the folkie in the audience, he'll recognise I've got it exactly right, of course. So here we go. Told you it was different, didn't I? See, whammy bar, it's all there. Any banjo players in here? Because this is obviously, I'm looking to play Deliverance. No? Okay, we'll move on to something else then. The first piece I'm going to do is poetry. Pardon? Yeah, it was good, yeah, yes. And I was not quite good enough to join that duo, I don't think, but, you know, I've only had it 3 years. Give me a chance, Richard. Okay. So this is The Wasteland, mixed with a little bit of Ulysses and a bit of music as well. Anyway, here we go. April is the cruelest month. Autumn hopes, anxiety, young legs, possibilities. Winter sighs a scythe through ambition. Winter's frosts endured, but spring shoots withered. A last gasp, grasping reach. Our roots not quite destroyed. 4 far 4, east 5 5. Death beckons and dreams disintegrate as our frozen fingertips cling to the possibility of salvation. An April apocalypse, headless chickens and destruction as we awaken from March's false dawn. Yes, April is the cruelest month, accepting that Colchester United could be relegated again. Now, I'm actually playing this. There are people that perform in this room and other places in Colchester. They just press a button on some kind of computer. They might as well go out of the room. This is live music. I am controlling the speed of the music and the volume. So I'm keeping it real. These other people, just computers. This is real music, acoustic music. Life is passing in a fog, despite the Clean Air Act, heading off in the wrong direction and turning back before realising it was the right one after all. No waiting, no stopping, no U-turns, one way, wrong way, clomp, clomp, clomp as my boot heels go wandering. No through road, dead end, souls destroyed. The corporation bus is going to oblivion and I paid for a return ticket. I'm now 57. This time last year I was 56. This time next year I will be 73. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doo-doo-doodly-doo, doodly-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Kill that dirty groundhog. Kill that dirty groundhog. John Lee Hooker. Twinkle, twinkle, little stars, we believe there are billions of you, but we won't believe the bench in Castle Park with the sign that says wet paint. It's a small world, you say, but you've never had to decorate it. Old King Cole was a merry old soul. How lovely for him, with his 3 fiddlers. Sweet Colne, run softly till I end my song. Howling wolf, loud and strong. Smokestack lightning, smokestack lightning. The hind lays Grinstead, bathed in Elmstead sunrise. The little red rooster crows in Crockleford as Icarus falls to sea. But that's a bit Greek, and T.S. Eliot's watching. The drachma and the euro are floundering on a raft of driftwood. This flotsam from the Hythe, and I'm up Alsford Creek without a paddle. Now another good thing here is this, it does this. Again, the musical people will recognise the tritone there. And I've got something here. This actually is the internet. Well, it's not the internet, actually. That's kept in a garage in a railway arch in Accrington. This is a terminal of the internet. And I've got here, we press a few buttons and we come up with a Wikipedia article on the tritone. The tritone was that musical interval I just played. How much do you think there could be about that in Wikipedia? 26-page article. I won't read it all to you, but I'll read some relevant extracts because it's really important we understand this before we move on to any grand finale that might happen. Since a chromatic scale formed by 12 pitches, each a semitone apart from its neighbours, it contains 12 distinct tritones, each starting from a different pitch and spanning 6 semitones. According to a complex but widely used naming convention, 6 of them are classified as augmented fourths and the other 6 as diminished fifths, which is handy to know. Then we come into jazz music, uses the tritone a fair bit. Tritones are also important in the development of jazz, tertian harmony, where triads and 7th chords are often expanded to become 9th, 11th or 13th chords, and the tritone often occurs as a substitute for the naturally occurring interval of the perfect 11th. Since the perfect 11th, i.e. an octave plus a perfect 4th, is typically perceived as a dissonance requiring a resolution to a major or minor 10th, chords that expand to the 11th or beyond typically raise the 11th a semitone, thus giving us an augmented or sharp 11th, or an octave plus a tritone from the root of the chord, and present it in conjunction with the perfect 5th of the chord. Also in jazz harmony, the tritone is both part of the dominant chord and its substitute dominant, also known as the sub-5th chord. Because they share the same tritone, they are possible substitutes for one another. This is known as the tritone substitution. And you thought the offside rule was complicated. Then it gets a bit interesting, because the tritone has had connotations in the past about being associated with the devil. The unstable character of the tritone sets it apart, as discussed in Paul Hindemith, The Craft of Musical Composition, Book 1. It can be expressed as a ratio by compounding suitable superparticular ratios, whether it is assigned the ratio 64 to 45 or 45 to 32, depending on the musical context, or indeed some other ratio that is not superparticular, which is in keeping with its unique role in music. The name Diabolus in musica, the devil in music, has been applied to the interval from at least the early 18th century. Johann Joseph Fuchs cites the phrase in his seminal 1725 work Gradus ad Parnassum, and George Telemann describes it as me against far, which the ancients called Satan in music. Johann Mattheson in 1739 writes that the older singers with solemnization called this pleasant interval me contra far, or the devil in music. Now, I don't know what Jimi Hendrix studied, but he used the tritone in music, and it goes like this. Purple haze all around, dilly 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 doom. So, you know, I don't know whether he read the Wikipedia article before he wrote that, but there we are. Back to the poetry. I follow the road to Clacton Pier, under the boardwalk, splinters and echoes of childhood, a half-life away from the glare, sheltered from the storm, protected but scared. There's loads more yet. Under the boardwalk. I will show you fear and a grain of sand. Grains of sand trawling through the egg timer. I grasp to turn the egg timer as the top bulb is nearly empty, but my arm's too heavy and my nerves are shot. In the wasteland above, there's a guy with a big waistband. Maybe he's a poacher, maybe he's an egg. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, the pier creak groaned and had a great fall and collapsed on top of me. I succumbed to peer pressure. In here, I also have a wah-wah pedal. This isn't an electric one, although it's got a lead. Plug it in. You thought the leaden winter would bring you down forever, but you rode upon a steamer to the violence on the sun, with tales of brave Ulysses, how his naked ears were tortured by the sirens sweetly singing. Wah, 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 wah. Downward my journey, will-o'-the-wisp, punishment for others' misdemeanours, work harder, play less, no fun, get a job, get on your bike, fail the cycling proficiency test, mother knows best, time is money, the dark side of the moon in June. Us and them. That was a much reduced version of Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. When I was at college, that was actually a current album, and it was a bit overblown, but it got in my head because it was being played all the time, and you know, I've summed it up for you there. That's probably enough of that. Black shuck, bad luck, drink in a pub, no truck, too young, too old, too bold, too bald, craving acceptance, praying at St. Peter's. It's chess, the bishop can only move diagonally. A checkered career leading where? Over there, the Toosie Dragon, cats are meowing, witches burning, farming tools, ducking stools, lazy mules, Holland on sea, hollering men, wondering when. Interested in time travel? Let's meet here again, last week. They say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Not if you're travelling by bicycle, it doesn't. I've got a bike, you can ride it if you want. It's got a bell and lots of things to make it look good. I'd give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it. An empty path across the marshes, stakes in the mud with rusty lanterns, and the hollow men. Always the hollow men, the inevitable disappointment when you bite into a chocolate Father Christmas. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but with some whimsy. Thank you very much.